What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the August Love Story channel. I am Tommy T.
I'm Artieka, so this week it's me. Okay.
What?
You let me introduce myself. It's cool.
I'm gonna start doing it that way. I told you it's gonna be different every time,
It's
but
cool.
no, I'm gonna start doing it that way.
Okay.
And you're listening to the August Love Story podcast. This week we're talking about new stages in relationships.
No idea what we're talking about.
We kind of pulled this one out of our hat.
You did.
I pulled this one out of the hat. But before we get into it, I want to ask you guys to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, August Love Story. What else? Like, share, and comment on this video if you're listening to us on Apple Music or Spotify, wherever you listen to us at. Make sure you give us a like, leave a comment there too. So this episode, we always go through different stages in relationships. You got your honeymoon stage. You have the stage where you're coming out of the honeymoon and like stuff is getting real. And then you have the I've been with you forever stage. So it's a lot more things in between there. We're going to kind of chit chat about those things and where we are and see what we come up with, man. But before we get into that, we are
currently at the stage that our children won't stay asleep long enough for us to record an episode.
Right.
Everybody was asleep when we sat down.
Yeah. And we got a special guest today. He was with us all last week. Quad is in the building. He won't say anything right now. So before we get started into the episode topic, Artieka, what you got for us with the conversation starter?
All right. When was the first time you earned money as a young person? Who had the most influence in shaping your work ethic?
The first time I had money as a young person.
Made money as a young person.
Anyway, I was probably like 8 or 9 years old and I raked leaves for my granddad. And he gave me, I think it was like $20. I spent that money as soon as I could.
Spend a check.
It burnt a hole completely in my pocket.
I bet it did.
$20 was a lot to me then. Right. I was like, I didn't even do that much.
You be like, look, I could go buy all the now and latest they got in the store.
The funny part about it is I raked the leaves up and then jumped in them.
Did you actually get them up, like put them in a bag?
I put them in a pile at the end of the in front, and like you know how they're like not on the sidewalk, but on the grassy area on the other side of the sidewalk. So I piled them up all right there, then jumped in them. He was like, "You gotta get them up."
I can imagine your granddaddy saying it to you.
Yeah. So,
man, a few words, but when he said them, you better listen.
Yeah, so I went on ahead and got it up, man. It was so funny, though. I still remember that.
My first time earning money, I'm actually going to go to like W-2.
Oh, okay.
I was like 13, and I was a part of this youth group called Young Women Striving for Excellence. It was a Christian-based group, and we had an event, and they needed people to set up. So pull the tables and chairs out, throw the tablecloths on them, put whatever decor they had, which was very limited because we was like a donation-based 501c3.
Right.
And I think I might have made $40 that day, but at the ending, they also gave me a $10.99.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So I was like, I gotta file taxes. My mom was like, no.
Yeah, that's what happened with me. With my first job, I didn't know I had to file taxes. So when tax season rolled around, I asked my mom, did I have to file? She's like, nah, you'll be fine. I was so nervous. I thought somebody was going to come get me because I didn't file my taxes.
I kept saying, but you keep talking about tax season. We got to file taxes.
Right.
She was like, you did not make enough money.
That's what my mama said. You ain't making enough money.
Ain't nobody told me nothing.
Ain't nobody told me one thing, man.
Who had the most influence in shaping your work ethic?
My granddaddy. He like showed me I didn't want to work like him. Because he worked day and night. And when he, because
he had his own business, but he also worked.
Right. For a company.
I'm explaining to the people.
Oh, okay. But he did show me like you work hard for the things that you want, and it's nothing gonna be just given to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to basically bust your ass to get the things that you want. And I remember when we went fishing for the first time, he was like, I'm able to do this because I work so hard. Or I'm able to like be left alone and do the things I want to do because I work so hard. And so that's my work ethic comes from that. It's like, hey, bust your ass to get what you want, but make sure you can enjoy it. And that was the part that I didn't get to see. But I started
him enjoying it.
Yeah, but I started because it was like every time I would come over there, and I would go over there like to visit Steve almost every weekend once I got older. And it was like you never got a chance to see him, you know, because he's working or, you know, he sleep, you know. But he always was going out of him and my grandma going out of town. And when I finally went to the casinos, because that's where they went to, you know, to the casinos and stuff, they'll be gone for like a week and a half. You like, oh, when they coming back?
Yeah, because when you went to the casino with him, y'all was gone almost a week.
I was like, when are we coming back?
You do know I have to go back to work, right?
Granddad, when are we going back home, man? But, you know, they'll be gone for a very long time. And it's like, when I went with him, I was like, you're kicking it. That's why, you know, you was like, that's your enjoyment of it. You know, me and him going fishing, that's his enjoyment of, you know, his labor. But I want to enjoy mine a little different than him. So
I never thought about people working because everybody kind of turned off work when they got home. And it wasn't really discussed. It was like, I go in from 6 to 2. And at 2 o'clock, don't ask me nothing about where I was at from 6 to 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's how my family was. With the exception of my dad, but that's because he was a fireman. So the hours were a lot different. But as I look back on life now, I think that my grandfather was influential. And it's a point that I'm trying to figure out in my life, is that my grandfather is one of the few people that I know that did what he loved for a living. My grandfather loved to paint. He made a living, and a decent living at that. Like, he wasn't a starving artist.
Yeah.
My grandfather was able to buy a few homes and, you know, do his thing. And he's still painting now in his 90s.
Yeah.
But my grandfather is the true definition of a creative.
Yeah.
And he was, like the quote says, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
I feel like he truly lived by that. And so I'm in the soul searching of what I love so that I can be like him in that aspect.
Well, I think a lot of us are always looking for the thing that we love to do. A lot of us don't know what we love.
Right. Because we've been trying to do things for money.
Yeah.
And he's one of the few people I know that was able to break the mold of specifically doing it for money.
But it's a lot of it because we're coming from a standpoint of always trying to catch up. Like when you have the opportunity to not have to worry about the catching up part. You know what I'm saying? When you can't have the time to just sit down and be like, let me try this, and this. And see what sticks, see what I like to do, see what I lean towards and stuff like that. It's okay. Well, let's lean more into this right now. Yeah. And it brings you, it's basically when you're in the different stages of your life, you know, and stuff like that. So it's I get that part of the soul searching thing. It like posthumously thinking about my granddad.
You learned a word.
Oh man, when I learned that, I was like, let's use it. Can't wait to use it. Steve couldn't say it right.
Did y'all have to do dictionary.com?
No, I had to I was like, Google it and let her say it for you. So it's like next time we talk to him, ask him to say it. Okay. Because we did a episode about posthumous albums. And boy, he was messing that word up.
He was wearing it out.
He was killing it. But now, posthumously thinking about my granddad, like my granddad died in 2018 and what was I, 31? And
that sounds right.
Yeah. And it took me 31 years to realize my granddad was an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody ever talked about it. Nobody ever brought it, like gave the idea that he's working for himself. It was always he's at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, that's just a job.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody talked about, no, that's really basically a thing that he likes to do, a business that he has, and so just thinking about it and think about where I get my work ethic from and where I think about work. Mm-hmm. My granddaddy is the example that I have, and so that's what turned me on to, or made me realize, hey, owning a business is not so far-fetched, because before that, I didn't even pay attention to owning a business because that wasn't a thing that I could afford to do. Mm-hmm.
And I get it, because I look at my mom's dad, because I was the creator is my dad's dad. My mom's dad also was a small business owner several times over. Yeah. But by the time that I was born, he wasn't working anymore. So I never got to experience that side of my grandfather. Like, I had to ask my mom, like, outside of having the room and house, what did he do for a living? He just threw his pacifier. But it was just, it's interesting to like see them. Give me that towel, wipe it off. It's interesting to see them in this stage of our lives, like reflecting on the back end. Mm-hmm. And not realizing what you know now about them. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
No, it's all about those stages in their life, and then just translating it to the stages of where we are, because we've gone into new stage in our marriage. I feel like that's what made me we're
5 or 6 times,
right? We're talking about, or like this month we're focusing on new, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's the new year. It's beginning of the year and everything like that. Everybody wants to start over, and our focus this month is on new. And so as I was thinking about what could we talk about in this podcast, and I feel like personally and together, we are entering new stages of our life, And so I was like, this will be a kind of like a off the wall subject, but kind of interesting to talk about, where like the stage that we are in versus where we were in, and then the different stages that we've gone through. Where do you feel like we are right now? Like, if you was to name a stage, I know it's hard to be like, oh, we're in this stage, but personally, where do you feel like we are as the married couple?
I want us to be in cruise control. Yeah. But Lord Jesus, we are not. Is that a stage?
Lord Jesus, we are not.
I wish it was something else. But it is not. And that's not even just like our marriage, but that's our lives currently. Yeah. I feel like we are in figure it out. Yeah. Which apparently happens a lot. Like, you're going to enter figure it out stage a lot in your life. Yeah. And a lot in your marriage, because your marriage is part of your life. But I think that our marriage started right after ish got real. Yeah. Because
when did ish get real?
I'll give you a few examples from the year we got married. The year that Tommy and I got married, Tommy lost his job in January.
Yeah.
Wasn't it January?
Yeah, it was January.
January, he lost his job. I quit my job on tax day. Like I put in my 2-week notice on April 15th.
I was working by then.
Yeah. And then on April 15th, same day, our apartment caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
We got married in August.
It got real.
It got very real very fast.
Yeah.
It was kind of like every time we tried to recover from something, like I was looking for a new job during the time that I was looking for a new job during the so I put in my 2-week notice and it actually turned into like a 3.5 week notice because I had to help train my replacement, and my replacement had no experience in the field whatsoever. Granted, I also entered into this job the exact same manner where I had zero experience in the field. I was working in healthcare as an operations manager, and I was managing a team of CNAs, and they were just pulling people that had whatever we were lacking in that moment. That's how they hired. So when I got hired, the lady that was leaving was like, our marketing efforts are really bad. If we can find somebody to do marketing, everything else will come. So that's where I came in. And I don't remember what was lacking by the time I left. It was money. Yeah. Money was lacking when I left. And so we, as a collective, Tommy had started back working, but he was working part-time. But we were in a position where we could afford our bills on a part-time salary, even though I knew that I was going to be getting another job. And I did get another job. I think I was like out of work for like maybe 7 days. Yeah. But I had already accepted the new offer. That was just my 7-day window of trying to figure it all out. So yeah, it got really real, really fast. And we hadn't even gotten married yet. I think that after we got married, we coasted for a little while. Yeah. Because at that point, we both had jobs. Things were cool. Then you realize you didn't like who I was at my job, in my new job.
Yeah, my dog just quit. It was like, all right.
No, you said, I don't like the person that you're becoming at work.
I told you to fix it.
Yeah, that was the only way I knew to fix it. It was not work there anymore.
But it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. I was like, okay, we can handle this. But, in the meantime, what's the plan? And you didn't have one.
I started driving Uber.
That really bothered me.
I know.
When we was in that state, because it's like you can't complain about it, right? Mm-hmm. But you can complain about it. It's okay to be like, this ain't working for me.
Right.
But you knew that was going to be an argument behind it because
I did not know it was going to be that type of situation.
Right. I ain't either. Like,
but to preface that, I quit that job in like August, September. And I started with the company that I'm with now in December. So I wasn't out of work for a super long time, but it felt like it was long enough. Yeah. And the company that I was with, that I'm with now, I actually started with them full time. And then I moved to a program part-time. So, and that was after having Lily, that I went from full-time to part-time.
Yeah. That, and even with that, man, it's like,
I'm not that fascinating, son.
But no, even with that, it's like, you want to be like, at one time it was like, man, I just want to be supportive of you, but it's hard to be supportive of you when you be like, what you want to do, and the answer is always, I don't know. And then a argument pursues after that, you know. Just strictly.
You were always the one that was arguing.
Nah, it was like, man, you think about it like this. It was like we do things together. Then all of a sudden, one person has to take control of everything, and there's no ending in sight.
Right.
And it's like you're looking for some type of relief, and you're not getting it, and you're trying to figure out, well, why aren't I getting this relief? You know, and so. That was a stage in our relationship that I was like, man, this is hard. That was a hard stage for me to deal with and grasp because it was more so of what's going on here.
To preface this, I felt like Tommy and I would have a conversation about what I wanted to do on Monday, and he would be like, you need to figure it out. And then Friday, he'd circle back around too and be like, you ain't figured it out yet?
So I don't want you to just not, you know, I want it to be top of your brain. Like, this is like, let's look at it for real though. Like, and I know I'm different, and this is something I had to learn to deal with because I've complained plenty.
I know
about
you have. To me.
To you, to others, like, but it was something I had to learn to deal with, that people don't, like, you tell you to do something, you have to give you a time frame, right? Because if you don't give a time frame, you're going to do it in your own time, and who knows when that's going to be. But for me, when it's things that I want to do, I'm gonna list it out. I'm going to, okay, well, if I really want to do this, let me look into it. How long is this going to take me to do? What's all involved? How can I ease into it? Do I really want to do this? And, you know, I think about that. But on, like, for you go through your own process. And I had to learn that you go through your own process. Now being on this side of it, it's like, for me, I think we're more so moving in the same direction. And we're wanting not the exact same things, but we want the same thing.
We want similar things.
Yeah. We want the same outcome for each other. And it's more so of being able to support you being able to support me, and being fans of each other, and also having the kids, you know, and giving them the providership, new word, providing for them in the way that we need to. Whereas when it was just us, we were still figuring each other out, and able to, you know how to manage that part, because that's something we don't have to deal with now, you know? And then I think on the flip side of it, it's like you can understand more of where I'm coming from with certain things. Because of, I guess, the way I can approach it, or I approach it, or try to approach it, and you can be more understanding of, oh, he's trying.
Yeah, you're better. Because you was just real aggressive and abrasive. You were basically a sanding block in the beginning.
Yeah. Whatever.
You couldn't figure out a way to smooth things out. You was just like, rough it up.
I just, but dealing with you for, I don't know how long, like what, 10? Is it 10 years?
10 years this year.
Yeah. So dealing with you for 10 years, being married for...
Because you weren't like close to me when we met.
Yeah, nah. But we got extremely close, and now we're married with 2 kids, and just seeing where we are and where we're coming from. I love thinking about where we came from, the journey, because this journey has been fun, and it is fun with you, even during the bad times. But
like right now when your child is talking.
right. But it's like just seeing this stage and seeing us going from a honeymoon stage to like we're here, we're like in it, we're like knee deep.
You know what's funny? That's what you'll call it, knee deep. It's funny because in the last month or two, we've seen people that haven't seen us since we've been a family of 4.
Yeah.
And like the very first thing they do is smile and be like, y'all got 2 kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's real now.
Right.
And I'm like, the first one wasn't real for y'all?
They're seeing a family now, you know. Now we just got it. I don't know where the 0.5 come from.
The dog, because I ain't having no more kids.
Yeah, I was like, I wish we could have kids without you being pregnant.
You know what?
If we could do that, then,
if we could find us a little adoptee,
yeah,
I'd take another baby, but I don't want another baby right now.
No, not right now. He's enough.
Mm-hmm. I don't ever want a toddler and a baby again.
That's funny. But no, I just think where we are now is kind of amazing to see, just knowing the story, and then for other people to see it, you know, it's kind of cool. Like when my uncle, like it hits my uncle like tough, you know, he be like, man.
He stopped saying y'all young to
yeah,
us.
He did. We grew out the young stage.
Right.
I think he figured out how old I was like a few weeks ago. Like he was like, oh.
You only 2 years less than he's been married.
Yeah. But he never, you know, I'm his nephew.
I know.
You know. But he never put it together. Oh, this is a grown man.
Mm-hmm. You and your sister were his babies before he had babies.
Yeah. And so, you know,
which
now,
he might see this. Hey, Uncle Dion.
What's up?
Or I'm sorry, Terry.
But you know, it's when we see him and he says, "Man, you and your family," and he just lights up. Where my boy at? You know, and stuff like that. And he talks about Lily and stuff. It's like amazing to see. And that's what he thinks about us, you know. Like he's been able to see our growth and where we are, because he was saying to me, he was like, man, I've been where you are, and I know exactly the things you're going through when it comes to, you know, getting a house and, you know, having a family and, you know, this and that and that and the other.
Stuff tearing up in the house that you just bought. I swear.
Man, but no, I just like the stage that we are in. You know, and I know we won't be in this stage forever. I don't have a name for it.
You know what? Well, use your favorite saying. This is currently getting it out the mud.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we truly are getting it out the mud.
Because every day is something new.
It's something new, but it's like the experience that we have together. I wouldn't trade it, you know, just because it's like we don't have it perfected. Right? If
we did, we wouldn't be filming this with a baby in my arms.
No, we wouldn't. So you guys listening gets to, you see all our imperfections when it comes to like trying to record this and everything. But it's like we work well together and we're getting better, you know, when it comes to things, and we're able to argue fairly. If I can say that, you know, sometimes it gets, you know, we have to tell each other, yo, check yourself.
I try not to argue with you. You always trying to argue with me. You always trying to argue with me. I just be like, okay, I'm not doing this today,
man. But I mean, and it's another stage of like understanding when each other are tired. And can just be like, okay, well, let me give him a break, or let me give her a break, or, you know, I know he's busy and this is what he's going to do. Or I know she just wants me to get the kids. Let me get them. And, you know, I just thug it out with them, you know, because that happens.
A lot.
Yeah. And there's nothing I can do about them not asking me for things. I just want to point that out.
I actually posted that on Facebook today. I was like, why do dads get to be left alone? Because Lily was sitting on our bed next to Tommy. She looked past him and said, Mommy, I want some oatmeal. I'm like, but your daddy's right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Never thought to ask him at all. So I asked her one day, why didn't you ask Dad? She looked at me and said, I don't know. And she still looked at me like, you gonna make it?
Because she wanted you to. I don't know. I can't answer for that. But what I can say is, like, when I get both of them, you know, like it's as much as I possibly can. I get both of them, And but it's like for me, my wheels is always turning. So it's like I'm always trying to do something, and I feel bad even like when I stop anything to just play the game. It was like, man, let me go get one of them to play the game. And usually it's him because that's all he gonna do.
Yeah.
You know?
If y'all hear he's talking now.
Right.
He's a very talkative child at night.
Yeah, he needs.
We cut off the light on him a lot because
he needs to be going to bed. But man, I love the stage that we're in. I love to see the different stages that we've come from, and I can't wait to get to the newer stages, because these stages for me are more so the growth that we have individually and together, collectively. And yeah, man, I look forward to it. Hopefully, the next stage, you know, wherever that may be, whatever that may be.
I can tell you where it's not.
Right here,
labor
right now.
and delivery.
No, it's definitely not there. But just learning to work better with you, man, has been like one of the most amazing things to see, and just the growth in you has been one of the most amazing things. So, I don't really have much more left on that.
Yeah, I was interested to see where you was gonna go with this.
I didn't know where I was gonna go with it. I didn't know where I was gonna go with this topic. I just really got on here and just started talking.
You did well.
Did it?
Better than I thought.
Yeah. It was a much better conversation than I thought it would be. That's funny. That's real. That is real. You know? But before we get out of here, man, what's our quote for the day? Episode?
I'm gonna preface this by saying Kev on Stage put out a video today that said 1993 was officially 30 years ago. And so it started me on a rabbit hole of music from 1993. I was like, what was I listening to 30 years ago? One of the songs that was on that list was Functified by Da Brat. I decided not to do that song, but I picked another song by Da Brat, which was that song with Tyrese. What's it called? What You Like?
A whole lot of
Tyrese. She says, I like them brown, yellow, Puerto Rican, or Haitian with good conversation, plenty big faces. It's a must. I stay luxurious. Jewelry cut precision like I bust. Been winning since Functified blew up.
It's the brat tat tat tat. That's always fun to me.
It's the gun going off in Chicago.
Yeah. Man, I tripped out when I found out Lisa Ray was her sister.
Yeah. You know, there's like some conspiracy theory saying that they're not really sisters.
Why?
I don't know. I was like,
I think they're real sisters.
I believe they're sisters, but I'm saying, you know, there's conspiracy theories about it saying, nah.
Like if they wasn't real sisters, they would have given that up by now. Because there's no reason for them to be like, just playing, you know, to be playing like, just playing. That ain't my real sister.
Yeah.
It's like Samore and Nia Long.
Yeah, they just don't really talk about being.
I seen an article about that was saying, like, talking about, like, why. I have no clue. I didn't read it. I just saw the article. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I don't really know. I have one actual sister, one stepsister, and one god sister that my mother raised. Yeah. So depending on in what context you ask me, I either have one sister or I have three sisters.
Yeah.
Which is funny because my stepsister and my god sister almost have the same name.
Yeah. I only have one sister. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening to another episode of the August Love Story podcast. If you haven't already, go subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like this video, share it, comment down below. And, you know, we love the comments and everything. If you're listening to us on Apple Music, give us a rating, like us. I think you can review it. Yeah, review it for us. And, yeah, man, look out for the new things that we're doing. We got the Married at First Sight episodes, reviews coming out on Fridays. Join us Saturday mornings at 8:30 Eastern for our coffee breaks, and enjoy our vlogs because we'll start putting more and more of those out. We're currently working on a house to home series, so be on the lookout for that as well.
Yeah, all of Tommy Bean. What is his name? Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
Yeah.
I guess you're Tom the Tool Man.
Yeah. But check us out and support us, man. We enjoy the support that you guys give us so far. And keep talking to us, man. We enjoy it, and we enjoy talking to you guys and everything like that. So with that, and Artieka's channel too. Go check her channel out on YouTube.
Hopefully get up another video this week.
She'll be putting up another video soon. And that's it for me.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.